Tips on how to not appear too judgmental to friends and family who consume animals. Okay, this is a difficult one to pick apart. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a Q&A because January rolled around. I had big plans for this channel, loads of video ideas lined up, and then the January illness hit me. I don't know why, but every January I just seem to get some kind of illness, so that happened. But I didn't want to leave you without videos, so I posted on Instagram and asked you to send over your Q&As, and I thought I would just do a sit down Q&A, a nice easy transition video for me to come back while I'm still getting better and hopefully answer some of your burning questions. So grab a tea or a water like me and let's jump in. Also, if my hair is looking extra fluffy, it's because I washed it this morning. Normally I wash it at night so that it can calm down by the next day, but my hair just gets really fluffy when I wash it, and it's still a little bit wet as well, so that's why it looks like that, in case you were going to ask me in the comments. So I've got all of the questions on my phone. I'm just going to read them off one after the other. So the first one is, what's your go-to remedy for when you're feeling generally crappy? I suppose it kind of depends on the crappy that I'm feeling. I did actually post yesterday, this is perfect timing and this was not planned at all. I posted yesterday on TikTok. If you're not following there already, I'll link it down below, give me a follow. And yesterday's video was on 15 ways to feel better when you're just kind of feeling a bit bleh. So I guess that answers it. That's got 15 answers in that video, so go and check it out. But generally just things that I know are gonna perk me up a little bit, and it can be something really small, from like making myself a hot cup of tea to something that's gonna be more time consuming, like maybe reading a book that inspires me or going for a walk in nature. I have lots of different things in that video though, so I'll link that down below and I'll answer in more depth. Also, just go and follow me on TikTok, a little plug there. Thanks for the question. The next one is, do you shop fast fashion? And no, in the sense that I don't go into fast fashion shops, but yes, in the sense that I shop in thrift shops where they give secondhand fast fashion pieces. So I don't buy from fast fashion brands. Basically, if I'm buying something new, it's going to be either secondhand but new to me from a charity shop, or it's going to be from an ethical company. And you can find out more about them if you follow me on Instagram. There's a little gnat in here. When I buy something that's like brand new, like manufactured new, it's from a sustainable company that is ethically aligned with me, and I usually will share it on my Instagram because I know I get a lot of questions about that. But usually I buy things secondhand. Like pretty much everything is secondhand. Let me just think. Yeah, this cardigan is secondhand. This top used to be my mom's, and I recently got these linen trousers, which are also from a charity shop, for like £1.50. I just also love a bargain, so it works really well for me. What is something that happened in 2019 that changed the way you want to live in 2020? Also, I haven't really looked through these and I haven't formulated my response, so this is going to be first response. That's a really good question. I actually really like that question. Something that happened to me that changed the way I want to live in 2020. Well, last year was a big year for me. I moved out of London, was a bit nomadic for like 4 months, and then moved to a brand new city, moved to Brighton. I suppose the way I want to live hasn't really changed that much because my plans haven't changed all that much. I still want to travel a lot, live a bit more nomadically at one point when I'm more financially secure. But I also want to adventure more. But at the same time, I want to kind of live more abundantly where I am now. I have a tendency to be quite frugal. I think that's from a history of coming from a working class background. I haven't always had that much to splash around, so I still have that mentality. But so I do try to sometimes just, relax a little bit more and enjoy the things I have. And I think that last year has allowed me to do that because I had to be very frugal while I was kind of living out of a backpack for a while. And now that I have my concrete place where I am living currently, I want to just like relax and enjoy and go on more adventures and, you know, spend money and other resources and enjoy them, you know, because that's what they're there for. So I hope that answers your question. How have you cultivated a mindful way of being? Oh my god, that's a good question as well. I suppose being an introvert just kind of lends itself to that a little bit more, because I'm more introspective, which lends itself to being a bit more mindful and thoughtful. So perhaps it's partly in my nature to be more predisposed to that. Also going through a lot of hardships in my life, without going into like details, I've had to take a step back and assess a lot and come up with solutions. Life ain't been easy, that's what I'm saying, and that makes it a lot easier to be more mindful, and also to be more mindful about other people's experiences. I think that cultivates a lot of empathy, which also in turn creates mindfulness. So without going on like a rant, I think that's basically it. This one I'm trying to, it says, for you, vegan and sustainable, is it the same? Thank you. I think what you're saying is, so I'm both vegan and trying to live more sustainably, and are they the same thing for me? Well, no, they're not the same thing, but they tend to be paired together. So living more sustainably, you kind of have to have a plant-based diet if you're living sustainably. So people tend to get plant-based and vegan confused. So I suppose there are a lot of vegan people who are living sustainably and a lot of sustainably minded people who are vegan, but they mean different things. So sustainability is trying to live more eco-consciously with your purchases and with the way that you go about life, and veganism is a social justice movement to end oppression and exploitation, specifically to non-humans, and end the hierarchy between human animals and non-human animals, and to create rights for all beings, all sentient beings. So they're very different, but being vegan means having a plant-based diet as part of it, which is the most sustainable diet, and it's one of the most sustainable things that you can do every day. So that's kind of how they link. So you've got like sustainability and veganism, and then like plant-based in the middle that connects them both. So I think that's maybe where some confusion comes from, and that's, if you're not aware, that's how they link up. Any tips for hair loss after turning vegan? Interesting. I wonder whether the correlation is not to do with veganism or plant-based diet. I wonder whether that's circumstantial. But if it is to do with veganism, well, whether it is or it's not, I think go to the doctor, get a blood panel, see what you're deficient in, and eat more of the foods that have those vitamins in. I don't know what creates hair loss. I've never looked into it because I have thick hair, never had that problem, and I don't think I've known anyone who has. So, could it be iron or zinc? Completely guessing, so I'm not going to go down that avenue because I'm not here for that kind of medical advice. What I would say is go and get your blood checked and see what you're deficient in, and then eat more of the foods that have those things in, and if necessary, take a supplement. Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? I don't really, like, I'm not one of these life planners who like, in 3 years I want to do this, in 5 years I want to be married, in 10 years I want to have kids. I don't really like plan that way. I suppose I live more in the moment, and of course I have goals that I want to reach, but I don't have like necessary deadlines. But 10 years, like, that's a good timeline, because that's like quite far. In 10 years I will be like almost 40, so I would like to have some things done by then. So my goals for the future, just like generally, just like a broad outline, is to move out of the country, live somewhere warmer, to have land where I can build my own home on it, a small home with a lot of land where I can have animals, have lots of rescued animals, and grow my own food, and live kind of self-sufficiently. So that's my goal. So in 10 years I would like to be, yeah, at least along the way have found a place maybe where I'm going to settle down and do that, and perhaps have bought the land and be building on it. So that's really exciting to think about. Thanks for that question. Did you go to university? If so, was it worth it? Has it been helpful in your career? So yes, I did go to university. Was it worth it? No. Not for me personally. I didn't enjoy it. I had a pretty bad university experience. I didn't really get much from it. You know, there were lectures that I really enjoyed, and there were teachers that I really enjoyed. There were certain aspects that was good. It definitely wasn't worth going into that much debt for. It hasn't really helped me in my career. So I took English literature and film and screen studies, so I did 2 majors, and afterwards I wanted to become a video editor, a camera woman, kind of behind the scenes, like what I do with YouTube, but instead like not sitting in front of it. Just after this I'm going to go and edit this video, and that's what I wanted to do professionally. It was really difficult. I was a camera woman for some red carpet interviews for like Hollywood blockbusters for a while, but and then I did some like video editing for charities, and there was like a lot of freelance work, but it's like really competitive, and it was really difficult to earn like a proper wage on that, and it wasn't feasible in the end. But okay, so that's what I took at university, and that's where I thought I was going to head down, but it wasn't. And now I kind of wish that I would have just maybe taken a different subject at a different uni, or have just gone straight into this. I don't know. It's difficult to have regrets because I just have no idea what would happen had I not done what I did do. But yeah, I really didn't have a good university experience, and it's definitely not for everybody. And when people ask me whether they should go to uni, like, that's completely up to them. It's so different depending on who you are and what you're going to study. But also at the same time, it's not for everybody. It used to be, the rhetoric was that everybody should go to uni, but I don't think it's necessarily the thing for everybody, and I don't think it was the thing for me. What are your thoughts on eating wild meats, deer, boar, etc., considering overpopulation? Okay, so my answer to this would be, what are your thoughts on the human overpopulation? Because my response is probably similar to what your response would be to that. So when she says meats, so she's thinking about like killing the animals who are roaming wild, hunting them, and potentially eating them. And yeah, so my response to that is, well, humans are overpopulating the world. There's too many of us to sustain. What would the solution be there? And I don't know what the solution is to overpopulation. So for example, an overpopulation of badgers, there isn't actually an overpopulation. We just find them irritating because they interrupt certain things like farming. An overpopulation of deer is only because we've come into their home, their land, and wiped it clean and built our own homes on there, so there's very limited space for them to be, and now there are too many for that small bit of land that we've allocated that they can still have. So there isn't actually an overpopulation problem. We've just wiped them out like a virus, and now we haven't given them enough space, and we think that then the answer would be to cull them, which is another word for killing them, because we've taken their homes. So those are my thoughts. We are in this predicament. It doesn't change the problem that is there. We live and they live, and we all need to find somewhere to live. And I don't know what the solution is, but my go-to is not to kill somebody. I think that we need to regrow on land. We need to create a better ecosystem for everybody. We need to plant more trees, create more forests, edible forests, more land that is just wild and free, and habitats for animals who are overpopulating. Yeah, this is something that I'm getting more and more interested in, and I would like to have a better response to it, because I don't really have one yet to what my answer would be for that, because I'm not a scientist and I'm not in that specific field. But I would like to look more into that, and if I do, then that could be a really interesting video to create, so maybe I'll make that in the future. But my first response is certainly not killing people, killing animals, killing anyone who doesn't need to die and who doesn't want to die, more importantly. What is your favorite book about veganism? So Oh god, there are so many good ones. I'll link them down below. Anything that I mention in here that can be linked, I will link down below, so be sure to check the description box. Off the top of my head, the China Study and How Not to Die are incredible, huge books. Really fun. If you like reading, then you'll enjoy them. Really big books filled with nutritional information and facts. They're really great. I asked for Colleen Patrick Gojo's latest book, The Joyful Vegan, for Christmas, and I got it, which is great. I haven't finished reading that yet, but that is a great one, especially if you're transitioning to veganism and a plant-based diet. I'm reading it personally to be able to coach people and understand different people's perspectives on it a little bit better, so it could be good from a psychological perspective. I am currently loving The Sexual Politics of Meat. Sorry, I'm just going to turn this off. I'm reading The Sexual Politics of Meat. I am about halfway through that one at the moment, and that is incredible. It's about how... Hang on, I turned you on silent. So that is about the connection between feminism and veganism, and that it's just mind-blowing. I turned you on silent. I'm just going to put it on night shift. So I'd really recommend that. Those are the ones off the top of my head. I'll link down below any more that I think of. But highly recommend all of those. Is a psychologist capable of creativity? I'm trying. Not really sure what you mean by that one. A psychologist capable of creativity? I mean, everyone's capable of creativity. Psychologist, I wonder if you mean just like the profession, like a therapist? I think they have to be very analytical, but also creative. You said you're trying, so I wonder whether maybe you're trying to do one specific thing that maybe isn't clicking with you. Everybody has creativity in them. Some people are more creatively prone than others, but everybody has some sort of creativity. It doesn't mean that everybody should go and paint or draw or take photographs, but there is something in everybody that, you know, it's a form of expression. So however you like to express yourself, and I think just discover that and have a little play around with all different types of mediums. It could be absolutely anything. It could be like singing, poetry, dance, I don't know, crafting. You could get like crocheting, knitting, hair design, fashion design, loads of things that are creative that you could get into. It's just a form of expressing. How do you express yourself? Who inspires you? Ooh. See, I've always found this one quite difficult to answer because it's not like, I don't have like an idol or anything, but I suppose recently the people who inspire me are Colleen Patrick Gojo. She is an incredible animal advocate, and I really resonate with the way that she advocates. Andrea Sanders as well. I love all of her content on Instagram and her website. Very mindful creator. And if I think of anyone else, I'll link them down below. Those are the two people off the top of my head. Which shampoo do you use? I use, I'm not sure what the brand is actually. I have my own little like glass pump that I take to a local bulk shop, a little zero waste shop, and I fill it up there. Shampoo was like a big thing that was really difficult for me to transition when I was looking to go low waste and plastic free. I tried loads of different kinds. If you're like an OG subscriber, you would have remembered when I did like no poo journey. I was like trying lots of different shampoos and conditioners, and I found it really difficult. I'm so lucky that I have like a local zero waste shop that's in walking distance from me, so that I can top that up whenever I need it. What are your favorite hairstyles? This is from the same person. They're obviously into hair. Sorry to disappoint. I'm not that into hair, funnily enough, even though I worked in multiple hairdressers and have always done my own hair and other people's hair. I'm not that like creative when it comes to hair, or I just can't be bothered. I'm not that fussed about it. I tend to just leave it down, or I have it in like a ponytail, and when I'm working I usually just like put it in a bun. I don't know, I'm just kind of a bit messy when it comes to my hair. Like I don't really do it, I don't even brush it, like I just don't do anything to it, so sorry about that. Tips on how to not appear too judgmental to friends and family who consume animals. Okay, this is a difficult one to pick apart. So you're concerned that you're going to come across judgmental. I wonder if you then are being judgmental. Because if you're not being judgmental, then, you know, it's fine. There's nothing you can do about it if that's how they perceive you. If you are being judgmental, I feel like that's where the worry comes in. So maybe have more compassion and empathy. Maybe remember a time, if you haven't always been vegan, what it was like before you were vegan and how you felt about it, and come from that perspective. And if you have always been vegan, then it's really difficult. I find it very challenging to understand people's points of view that I've never been in that headspace. So people who are prejudiced against species or against other humans, I find it quite difficult to understand that perspective, but I think it's important to try, and I think it's important to remember that everybody is doing their best and trying to do what is right, and to have compassion for everybody and keep sharing knowledge and do it without judgment. I mean, it's a passionate topic, and sometimes we speak with anger or upset, and that's okay because emotions are completely valid and normal in this space. But try to not be judgmental, and if you're not being judgmental and they just see it that way, then you know that's on them, and that usually comes from a place of defensiveness because they know what they're doing doesn't necessarily align with their morals. So there's nothing much you can do about that. I hope that helps. No question, I just wanted to say that you look like a very nice human and you're an inspiration to me. Aww. Thank you. Happy New Year to you. How is your cat doing? She hasn't been in many videos. Okay, hopefully I'm in the same place. My camera just died. I had to rechange the battery. Very annoying when that happens. I hope that this hasn't changed too much. So that question was, how is your cat? She hasn't been in many videos. That is because she no longer lives with me. So I posted about Winnie on my Instagram over Christmas because I was with her. She is currently living with my family, so she kind of goes between my mum and my brother, so they're taking care of her kind of jointly at the moment. I'm not allowed to have non-human animals in the place that I'm living at the moment, and I also don't have outside space, so it wouldn't be very fair for her to try and bring her here at the moment. Where she is now, she's got familiar people around her, she's got gardens that she can go and explore in, she's very happy there. So although I would selfishly love to have her here with me, I think about her all the time, every single day. She is in a better place for her where she is at the moment, and then hopefully in the not too distant future I can have her back with me. So that is where she has been. Curious to ask why you had a break from YouTube last year. So glad you're back. I can't remember. There was so much going on last year. So I was living kind of without a base for a while. I was traveling around, moving every like few days from place to place, and that was very difficult. I was still filming videos during that time, and then I went through the move of moving here, and that was very stressful, and it was like labored. My things were kind of dotted around everywhere. So that's why it was very like stressful situation, and there was just a lot going on. And now that I'm like substantiated here, I'm like so happy to have like a regular schedule back on, where I can do all the things that I want to do digitally, online, sharing with you guys on my platforms. But that will be why I took that break last year. Do you know if Miss Meyer's, a detergent brand, is actually eco-friendly or if it's just greenwashing? I don't know of that brand, I don't recognize it, so I'm not sure about that one specifically. I have been thinking about doing a YouTube video dedicated to greenwashing and how to spot the signs of greenwashing and what to look out for, because it's something I get a lot of questions about, like this, like about specific products. And I think if you just have the knowledge about what to look out for, then you'll know about any brand and not have to like look up every single time and do like in-depth research. You can just keep an eye out for it. So let me know if you're interested in seeing like a video all about greenwashing and how to spot the signs. Let me know in the comments and I'll make that. But generally it's things like if it's got sustainable or eco-friendly or ethical written on it, those terminologies don't mean anything. There's no requirement to adhere to any kind of set of rules. There are no requirements to have that written on your product, so that doesn't mean anything. A lot of companies will have like a green colored thing or leaves on it or something organic and natural looking, and they'll say ethical and eco-friendly on it, and that doesn't mean anything. They don't have to adhere to any kind of standard to have that written on their box. Don't necessarily just go out and buy a product because it says that on it. But yeah, I could make a whole video about it, which I'm planning to. So yeah, let me know in the comments if I should do that like soon, because I do get quite a lot of questions about that. What time do you usually go to sleep and wake up, and do you follow any sort of sleep schedule? I'm naturally a morning person, so I like to go to bed quite early, like early, and wake up fairly early, not like too early. I like to be in bed by like 10, and I get up, I like naturally wake up. At the moment it's like 7 o'clock. It tends to be with the sunrise, so it's a bit earlier in the summer, a bit later in the winter. That's just kind of how my natural body clock works. I don't really follow like a specific schedule. I do try to have like be in bed by a certain time. Like I don't want to be eating dinner at 9 o'clock and not getting to bed till like 11:30, but I don't naturally lean towards that anyway. I tend to get tired and need to go to bed by about 10, and then my body just naturally wakes up. I don't have any alarm clocks or anything, but like 6:30, 7 o'clock earlier in the summer. What song would you say best sums you up? That's a good one. I don't know if you mean in terms of like lyrics or theme. Oh god, I love so much music. There is a song that I recently discovered that's called Solitary Daughter by, it's like Veganism or something. That's just, it makes me smile when I listen to it, because I do think, oh, that's so me. It's about being like really introverted and happy on your own basically, but it's a really nice song. I'll link that down below as well. Where did you meet your boyfriend? We met on Instagram. We're like one of those couples. We met on Instagram. He slid into my DMs. But seriously, yeah, he messaged me one day asking me about something that I posted on my story about like when I used to live in America and I had a wolf and I was living in the wilderness, and he was like, you need to tell me more. So we just began talking, and then I asked him to meet up, and we met up and we went for a walk, and we just spent, we ended up spending like 12 hours in each other's company without like eating anything, because we were just so enraptured with each other, I guess. It wasn't even like specifically romantic at first. We just really enjoyed each other's company, and that was kind of it. And we just clicked instantly, and then we fell in love. Would you rather vacation in Hawaii or Alaska, and why? Oh, both of them. I would love to go to both of them. They're both like extremes of weather, but definitely Hawaii, because I don't like the dark and the cold, and I'm such a sun baby. I love the sun. It's like never too hot. I could just bask in the sun all day. I love swimming in the ocean, tropical fruits, like without having to worry about importation. Just that sounds heavenly. I would love to go to Hawaii. What do you think about wool? I knit and try to use local and ethically made wool only. So this could go on a tangent as well. I'll link some information on wool and the wool industry down below in the description box. But basically there is no such thing as ethical wool. It's really unsustainable in terms of resources and waste from the industry. It's very toxic, and it's incredibly, incredibly cruel. Every single one of the industries. There isn't a local friendly, animal friendly version of wool. There just isn't. Inherent in the wool industry is violence and bodily mutilations, and it's absolutely horrific. Yeah, I will link a video more about that down below so you can have a look. But I have yarns as well, and I choose to use hemp, organic cotton. I would even prefer to get synthetic over wool. It's more eco-friendly, and it's more friendly in general. There's no cruelty, no inherent cruelty involved, so please do not buy wool. Any travel plans for this year? Kind of vaguely. Well, there are some things that we just kind of been talking about, me and some friends, me and my partner. I would like to travel, definitely. So I will keep you posted when I know more. Peter's just come home. Peter just came home. So the last question, are you related to or distantly related to anyone famous? I don't really have a big family. I don't really know about, like, I don't have a family tree or a family history. There are like 3 people in my family. I don't have like grandparents or like much of an extended family at all. So I don't really know that much. So my mum was a model, and my dad started Pink Floyd. He was in Pink Floyd before it was called Pink Floyd. It used to be called Joker's Wild, and he started it with Syd Barrett. So that's kind of cool. But in terms of like celebritism now, I don't know if I'm like related to like current celebrities at all. I just don't know that much about my family, because most of them have died before I was even born. Yeah, I think that's the end of the questions. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was really fun to make. It was a nice, smooth, easy transition back into making videos, and I'll be posting new videos, new content every week from now on. So thanks for bearing with me, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and hit that bell notification if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.